just to light the Republican fire even hotter, Nancy Pelosi determined to impeach the president a week before he leaves office anyway. So much unity. We're just so united. All right, for more on this, Texas Congressman Brian Babin joins us now. Sir, good to see you. Today, obviously, we watched what happened. The House tried to unanimously pass this resolution calling on Mike Pence to invoke the 25th. It didn't work out, so now it goes back to another vote tomorrow. Is that right? Can you fill us in here?
I sure can. Good to be with you, Rob. What crazy times.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going back tomorrow to vote on the 25th Amendment, and it looks like the following day we'll be voting on impeachment. Just probably one of the most foolish decisions I've ever seen. They're calling for unity, and quite frankly, the hypocrisy is just overbearing. And we've got the most divided country, I think, probably since the 1861, at the advent of the Civil War, and they've won, just like you said, they won. The Democrats, the hard left has won, and they're going to rub our nose in it. And quite frankly, it's very, very difficult for me to see how that 74 million people who voted for Donald Trump for president and think that they've been disenfranchised are going to come over and kiss and make up. It's going to be very, very difficult. And I would suggest very strongly to Speaker Pelosi and President-elect Biden that you need to think twice before you push this impeachment through, because it's going to be like throwing gasoline on a fire.
Yeah, it certainly is. And they're going to introduce this one article of impeachment, insurrection, without holding a single vote, or they're going to try and do a vote without having a single hearing, I should say, not look into it at all.
Well, Rob,
go ahead.
It's the same thing. It's the last impeachment. There will be no due process. They have no paper trail. They don't. All they're doing is using really press releases and press pieces to carry this impeachment through. There's no way that this could be a legal. It's going to be very, very bad for this country, let me tell you. It's going to hurt the whole process of impeachment into the future.
Yeah, the case is pretty clear. I mean, the president never said, the president said, we want you to be peaceful. We want you to go cheer for, this objection of the certification of the election. And he did. I mean, he did say several times that the election was stolen. And that's their case. Their case is that all of this false information that he put out there is the reason there was an insurrection. These are the same people that told us for 2 or 3 years that the Russians stole the last election. I mean, that's the hilarity of it. I mean, it's exactly the same thing. They just didn't have anybody go to Capitol Hill.
Exactly the same thing. The hypocrisy, again, it's almost too much to bear. And we hear them talking about demonizing the president. And quite frankly, I guess they have very short memories, because I remember Maxine Waters, saying if you find anybody that works in the Trump cabinet, you find them, go find them in restaurants and don't leave them be. And we've heard other things like, well, Kamala Harris, she's asking for donations to cover a bail for, in Minnesotans, at Minneapolis rioters. Chris Cuomo, please show me where it says protesters are supposed to be polite and peaceful. And so that's not inciting riots. I don't know what is. And it's just a total double standard. I don't think that any of us we may have fallen off the turnip truck earlier, but it wasn't today. Mama didn't raise any fools, and I think we all see the double standard here. The Democrats have jumped on and condemn violence now because it simply fits their agenda. And, I think that if they play their cards right, they've won. Let's see if we can get this country moving again. But I don't see that happening, and I'm very, very concerned about it, Rob.
Yeah. No, I mean, and just to clarify that, I mean, the idea, the Democrats try to push this idea that they were trying to bail out peaceful protesters that were, innocently arrested. In those situations, peaceful people were not arrested. These were the people that were trying to burn down federal buildings. These were the people trying to incite all sorts of mayhem. Those are the ones. I mean, when you're at something like this, the cops aren't wasting their time arresting somebody that's carrying a sign. They're arresting people that are lighting things on fire and trying to destroy buildings. I mean, there was at one point in Portland, they tried to light the building of the mayor on fire with people inside of it. And the left didn't have a whole lot to say about that. They kind of, oh, well, you shouldn't do that. Now they're just enraged. It is something to see. I want to ask you about this. Obviously, Democrats scoring a lot
Sure.
of points off of this politically. They're loving this moment. But let's go back to 2018. 51 climate change protesters arrested for unlawfully demonstrating outside Nancy Pelosi's office. They went into the Capitol building. They're outside her office. And she said this: "We welcome the presence of these activists. We strongly urge the Capitol Police to allow them to continue to organize and participate in our democracy." Obviously, it's two very different stories. I'm not trying to say that these people did the same thing as what we saw on Wednesday, but she welcomed it at that point. What do you think?
Well, it's just another example of blatant hypocrisy. You know, that the climate change folks that protested outside her office, say 2-3 years ago,
Yeah.
you know, that's part of their agenda. The radical wing of the Democratic Party simply is the one that controls what their agenda is. And so she's going to talk nice with these folks. But
Yeah.
you have the 74 million deplorables, which I'm one of, that believe in a patriotic and strong America and a president like President Trump. Then you know, we are absolutely anathema to these people, and they change their tune very, very rapidly.
Sure.
And it's just a total double standard.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's all politics. I mean, they are loving this moment. They can act like they're all upset. They're not upset. This is the best thing that's ever happened to them, and they love it politically. Congressman Brian Babin, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Good to see you.
Thank you, Rob. Good night.
All right, good night.
God bless.
Still ahead.